Funny.
In the relay.
Okay. Thank you, whoever just turned the recording on.
Katie. So welcome. Thank you guys for being on. Appreciate you so much. I am Susie Lawrence. I am the lead volunteer for the National Relay for Life leadership team. And I am joined by Katie Casamassina, who is a just an extraordinary young woman. And she was on the National Relay Leadership Team and has rolled off now, but is helping us with training. And Kayla Boswell, our extraordinary staff partner. So we love to pattern ourselves with the volunteer staff partnership, and it works so well. And we're so lucky to have each other as our training team for this presentation. So let's go to the next slide, please. If everybody would, there's me. So I went through too fast. And next, hopefully.
There's a few next ones. You can just scrub the names.
Yes.
Oh,
so
I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
That's okay. No worries. Thank you. So if you guys would just put in the chat how many years you've been relaying, where you're logging in from, and the position that you have on your ELT. And hopefully everybody can hear me. I'll scoot a little closer.
We have some northern and central Delaware folks. Some folks from PA who is on the social media team, our Luminaria chair who's been relaying for 20 years.
In Texas. I know that one.
20, oh my gosh, there are some veteran relayers here. 15 years, 6 years, 25 years, question mark. I love the question mark. 27 years, 24 years, 3 years, 14, 15 plus.
Wow.
Really from all over the country also. We're seeing Illinois, Virginia, Oklahoma, Texas, Long Island, Cranford, New Jersey. Heck yeah, go New Jersey. A bunch of another VA.
All right.
This is awesome. Thanks for joining, y'all.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you so much. Do we have Debbie on yet?
I don't see her.
Okay. Let's skip ahead then, please. And here's our agenda that we're having today. We want to talk about recruitment, which Debbie will be on at some point to talk through that with us. We want to talk about a meaningful day of experience. So when we're at our events, we're going to talk about virtual survivors and year-round recognition. And then also we're going to wrap up with some resources and talk about the t-shirt. So if you have any questions or anything comes up, just please put something in the chat. We'll also try to have some time at the end to take any questions too. So Barry, if you're okay with
yes,
taking our first round, we'll talk about a meaningful day of experience.
Sounds perfect.
Thanks, Barry.
So hello, everyone. My name is Barry. I'm a part of the Relay for Life of Rahway, New Jersey. I am a cancer survivor, 3-year metastatic breast cancer. And I've been on the ELT since 2021, and I help out with social media. So we create all of our posts and try to get engagement. Next slide, please. So first I wanted to show everyone our survivor dinner. So we actually have it on a separate day than our relay. And as you can see in the pictures, it just looks like a grand occasion. It's always beautifully decorated. Everyone gets dressed up, very nice. And we always have it in May, like I said. Next slide, please. So we always do something special for our survivors. We have giveaways. So on the top left there's some blankets that were handmade for our survivors. And at the bottom there's a beautiful saying about how hope takes flight. And it's a magnet. It also came with another butterfly magnet that was 3D. So I personally have mine on my fridge where I can see it every day. Next slide, please. So we also have a lot of speakers from the town that come in. So we have our mayor and other councilmen who will come in. They'll share their stories about how cancer runs in their families or their connections to cancer. And it's just really nice to have them come in and, like I said, share their stories with all the survivors. Next slide, please. So we also have raffle baskets, and there were so many more than what is actually pictured. So survivors get free tickets, and then you can buy as many more as you would want as well. And those are all for donations. People will donate grills, camping equipment, bicycles. We also have a whole board filled with lottery tickets. And there's a lot that we try to do to give back to our survivors. Next slide, please. And the way that we do get these donations, we ask online, we ask friends and family if they can donate items throughout the year. And we put them in baskets to give, and to put out for everybody at the survivor dinner. And it's just an incredible display. Next slide, please. So we usually have about 150 survivors and caregivers. And we have a buffet dinner that is absolutely delicious. Next slide, please. And we were actually the 2022 recipient of the National Power of Hope Award because of the survivor dinner that Rawway puts on. So we were very proud of that achievement. So our relay is in June every year. Next slide, please. So again, here you'll see our staff partner. We have our lead as well as our councilman and our mayor. They come and they speak to all of our survivors and caregivers. And it's always very touching. Next slide, please. Something that I personally find very special is all of us survivors, we wait in the survivor tent and we get called one by one to go up front and receive our survivor medals. And our local politicians will put them on for us. It's just a nice touch, I feel. All right, next slide, please. Something new that we did this year, we had some volunteers create bells. And this was very special because we found out a lot of our survivors never had a chance to ring the bell. So by doing this, it was the first opportunity a lot of our survivors had to ring it. And it was just very touching talking to other people about their experiences. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see even more people ringing the bell. Next slide, please. So we always get the community involved. So if you see at the top right, we have our ROTC, and each survivor paired with an ROTC member. Yes, so we actually, sorry, someone did comment if we made the bell for ringing. Yes, some of our volunteers actually made the bells for us. So, like I said, we had the community come together, our local police departments, the high school for ROTC, and local businesses as well. Next slide, please. So something else we did to get our survivors involved is I made candles for everybody where they would write their name if they wished and how many years of survivorship they have. And everyone got to place their candle on the giant birthday cake. And it was just such a wonderful sight to see. And that was right on the track. So whenever you took a lap, everybody got to see it. Next slide, please. So we have a separate tent that's just for our survivors and registration. Now, throughout the year, Rahway really collects from different items from different businesses. And we put them together in a bag for all of our survivors. Next slide, please. So we actually also have doves. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the video to work for us, but we do a dove release. So we have all of our survivors sitting in a tent, and the doves get released in a beautiful ceremony where they fly up and around for everyone to see to help symbolize hope. Next slide, please. So like I said, we have a survivor tent where all the survivors go to listen to different speeches, to take a break in the shade. And it's just a huge sea of purple. Next slide, please. Something else that we do for all of our survivors is we have a giant slideshow at the end. So this is in addition to our bag luminarias as well. So once it starts out, the survivors will sit in the tents, and we have pictures of those who are currently fighting cancer, those who have fought, and those who have unfortunately lost to cancer. And it's a very emotional experience, but it's nice to sit there and be in the comfort of our community. Next slide, please. Then you are one of the reasons we will finish the fight against cancer. Thank you for letting me present.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Barry. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Barry? Well, we appreciate you. If you think of anything, just put it in the chat, friends. We do have Debbie McDonald on with us. So, Katie, if you can take us back to recruitment. Debbie is the National Survivor Caregiver Team co-lead for the National Community Fundraising Leadership Team. She is also a voice of hope and a global voice. So I am going to turn it over to you, Debbie.
Thank you so much, Susie. And can y'all hear me first? Because I'm on my phone, so I don't even know if it's working. Obviously can't do this on my work phone, on my work computer anymore. So I'm sorry I'm late to the meeting. I appreciate so much that y'all skipped ahead and then made room for me to come back and share with you all of the ideas that we have, resources we can share, things we can talk about in terms of recruitment. So how do we recruit more survivors to get out to our events? If y'all have looked on acsresources.org, or if you haven't, now's the time to do it. I know it can be cumbersome. It takes me a while to find stuff on it, but I have realized real quick, if you will, instead of searching for survivors, search under patient services, you'll find a lot of stuff come up a lot easier in regards of things you can find for survivors. Last year, we were able to put together and have, it's out there on ACS Resources, and Susie will be able to share this out with y'all as well, some links and some different things that I sent over. We came up with a survivor and caregiver engagement guidebook. It's really good information in there. There's links to different things. You can share this with maybe the person that's chairing your event to give them some information and some more guidance. It's really good and compact information. I always like to start out saying, how do we recruit more survivors? Well, my easy answer on that is it lies on each of us, because if we're going to an event, we already know why. So if we can share our why with other people, then it's real easy to be that recruiting person. Don't wait for your survivor chair to do it, right? Everywhere you go, everywhere you shop, every person you run into has a story, has a connection somewhere. And it's just, how do we approach those people and get them involved in what we do? I'm a walking billboard for Relay. I seem to always have something Relay on or purple on. Everybody at work knows if I'm wearing purple, I'm on a mission that day. I've got something I've got to say about Relay, about survivors. I'm a 27-year survivor myself. So yeah, it took me a long time to actually start saying that, because I align more with my caregiver role, but because my cancer was caught thanks to early detection. So I didn't have to go through chemo. So I always said that survivorship is for somebody that has to go through that. And it's funny how, as we go through our career path, volunteer career path, we learn more about, I am a survivor and I'm proud of that. And I do like to tell people about that. There is a recruitment wheel that is available at ACS resources. It's not geared just toward survivors, it's to recruit for any aspect of your event, but you can apply it so easy to survivors, or where you can think to go find people that might help you connect with more survivors. Things like other nonprofit organizations, right? If you go out and volunteer for a different type of walk, it's real easy to say, hey, I'm with the American Cancer Society and we're always looking for cancer survivors, and you might find 10 more people to join your group. Military organizations, healthcare, if you have a Hope Lodge in your community, make sure you're reaching out to the Hope Lodge, because there's patients that are going through their treatment that might like to have something to do on a weekend, and invite them out. If it's a safe environment for them, they can wear a mask. They would love to come out to your event. They'd love to come and share their story at your event. We did our first Hope Lodge relay this past summer in Houston, and most of those people going through treatment had never even heard of relay. So we were able to get a whole bunch of new people involved in their communities once they return home. Sports clubs. I mean, the recruitment wheel is full of ideas of where you can go or get every single person that participates with your relay to look for people. Let me see. I'm sorry, I'm having to read off of my notes at points in time. When you go to acsresources.org, you'll see that we have activated a countdown clock for Cancer Survivor Day. That's another talking point. You bring it up at your meetings that you're having, let them look at it. And it's easy. Ask them, what will you do to recognize your survivors on that day? So Katie just put out there, it's 72 days. So we've got 72 days to think of all sorts of ways that we can recognize our survivors on that day. Why not start recognizing them a little bit at a time already, and then have a huge celebration on Cancer Survivor Day? We have to be bold in everything we do. And I like to say more in 24, right? Why not? I was gonna share a couple of things that my personal community relay have done at points in time. We used to go paint the town purple. A few weeks before relay, a few of us would go out armed with flyers and little 4x4 cards, business cards, whatever we had. We'd go to every local business and say, look, we're fixing to have our relay. Can we paint you purple? Can we hang up flyers in your windows? Can we leave booklets, pamphlets, information for people to come in? You'd be surprised at how many people that had not heard of relay all of a sudden joined a team, had a survivor join a team, have a caregiver join a team. We'd have people just say, I can't come, but here's $100 because I want to support your cause. And it's fun to go paint your town purple. I'd like to see my own relay bring that back as well. We also did friendly competitions. This is between team to team. So I would always say, look, all teams, we're going to do it for 1 month. Get 5 registered survivors on your team. It'll count if you already had 2 before the month started, but by the end of this month, you have to have 5 registered survivors on your team. I always work with my staff partner first because there's a cost to it, right? But people will work for swag. We know that. So if they could get 5 registered survivors on their team, they got a wagon. Who can't use a wagon at relay, right? We all need a wagon. Then I'd say, okay, same time frame, but this would only go for the month. Raise $2,000 and we're going to give you a 10 by 10 purple pop-up, right? So you combine it together, you just keep building on it, because we know if you bring survivors, you're going to bring more money. So let's get them to even bring more money in 1 month. Then we'd say, sell 100 luminaria, because who doesn't want to see a ton of luminaria around the field? That $2,000 can include that luminaria, but you have to sell 100 luminaria in that 1 month, and you can get an ice chest. So a team can easily get a wagon, a pop-up, and an ice chest. They have almost everything they need to go to relay, but a chair to sit on. And we don't want anybody to sit. We want them to walk, right? So if you think about it, that team has just raised $2,000. You might have about $200 of expenses to give them those 3 gifts, but you just raised $1,800 and got hopefully 5 more survivors to join. I always broke it down into 3 different aspects. They could win 1 of the 3, 2 of the 3, or all 3 of the 3. But it's always fun to come up with something that might work for your community to get your teams to compete with. 1 year we had 10 teams go all the way across and get all 3 awards. So we had a lot of luminaria, we had a lot of new purple tents, and we had a whole bunch of people walking around with wagons and coolers, and they were really excited about it. So another thing that we're pushing this year is form a survivor team. There's lots of survivors that come out just to take the celebratory lap, get their cookie or their piece of cake, and then we lose them. They leave because they have no other involvement. So we get your survivor chair to form a team called the survivor team. That way we can engage those survivors that are not on a team. We can keep them active with us. We can keep them out there longer that day. Usually the survivors will bring their family with them. That's more money being spent, more people on the track, raising more awareness of what we're doing. So we can think of it as more than just a celebration lap and a piece of cake. You can also work with your staff partner to get a list of names of all the survivors for the last 5 years. Human contact with each person is so critical to keep them coming back. So get those phone numbers, do a calling evening. Somebody cook dinner and 4 or 5 people sit around with the numbers, and everybody call people and have dinner. Call those survivors, make sure they understand how important they are to your event, that you want them to make sure they sign up. I have a bunch of elderly ones that don't want to be on the computer. We'll help them call the 800 number and get them registered. And see if you can get addresses, send cards. Cards are always a wonderful thing to get in the mail. It's always a surprise when you have a stack of bills, but you got that one little card that says, I'm thinking of you today. So just a lot of human interaction with that. And there's also available through your staff partner templates that can be used to send out invitations to like your survivor dinners, if you're going to have a survivor dinner prior to your event. So that's just some of the ways in the last day and a half that I've come up to talk to y'all this evening about how to recruit, how important it is to recruit, and how we got to keep retaining them after we've recruited them. Susie, I don't mind if y'all share my email address, my phone number. I'm always willing to help anybody out, answer questions, answer emails, whatever we can do to support everybody. And I love to hear everybody else's ideas, because then that only gives me more ammunition in my wheelhouse as well.
Great stuff. Debbie, you can just pop your information in the chat box if you.
I think, oh, okay, yeah, my personal stuff. Sure will. Yeah.
Yeah. And anybody.
Thank y'all so much for having me on this evening. And also thank you so much for being patient with me until I figure out how to get on.
It happens. Thank you for being diligent in getting on.
Yeah, I was not going to give up.
No, I knew you would.
Great info, Debbie.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Anybody
Oh,
questions?
go ahead.
Comments? Yeah.
Feel free to keep putting questions in the chat. I know I have a few written down that for Barry at the end of this call, but we'll transition a bit to engaging with virtual survivors. So our collegiate events have some experience with this, knowing that they're relaying in their college towns, but oftentimes their loved ones and their survivors aren't located in their college towns. So they have gotten creative in how to engage with survivors that may not be able to attend their event. And especially now in the world with not necessarily it not being safe for survivors to gather in person, or there being some concerns there. We want to make sure that every survivor, whether they can be there or not, is present and can feel included in your event. So here to talk to y'all is Jennifer Shute from the Relay for Life at Virginia Tech.
Hi, thank you for having me. I am I've been a part of Relay for about 4 years, since 2021. I am 4 years cancer-free from Hodgkin's lymphoma, and now I am the Survivor and Caregiver Relations Executive for Virginia Tech's Relay for Life, which is something I'm very proud of. Next slide. So virtual survivors. I think being able to do things virtually has been a silver lining from the pandemic. Like for instance, right now we're all on a Zoom call, like from who knows wherever across the country, which like working together, which is amazing. So a virtual survivor is a cancer patient, or you can do caregivers who cannot physically attend the event, but would like to be honored and celebrated, which they should be. You can do next slide. So we find it important to recognize those who are unable to come to the event because they could be under a lot of restrictions, immunocompromised, making it hard for them to travel. Who knows, like they just could be feeling really crappy that day. So ways that we can keep them involved is make sure they're registered for the event and send them a Survivor t-shirt. Our event is live streamed, so they can always just log on Zoom and watch and feel like they're a part of it. We make sashes for those who cannot come to the event, and then we have either a dedicated committee member, exec member, or in the form that we send out, we have them have the option, if a loved one is able to come, they can walk in their honor, which I think is very heartwarming. And then after the event, we can send a card saying, like a sorry we missed you with the sash in it, just so they feel involved, even though they couldn't actually be there. Next slide, please. So if you could see there's some of the sashes. They're handmade, they're purple and like see as a loved one and committee members. It's really a meaningful thing, I feel like, and they could see it on the Zoom as well. So yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Does anyone have any questions?
Like the virtual part. We do live stream eyes and it's really great.
I will add too, for those who want to try this, ACS is working on getting out a new like one-page flyer to help push virtual survivors at events that we will be happy to share as soon as like marketing signs off on it and everything, and it's good to go. So that will be to come.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. Lots of love in the chat as well happening.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
Awesome. Well, now we'll pass it over to Susie to share some ideas about year-round recognition for survivors, because as y'all know, Relay is a year-long fundraiser culminating in a one-day celebration.
That's right, Katie. Thank you. So our presenter for tonight was had something really bad come up about 5 o'clock today. So uh, Sandy McDonald from Greater Waterbury, Connecticut, was going to present tonight. And she was kind enough to send me her notes. So if you guys will bear with me, I will share what they do year round. The reason I called on her is I knew that her event did a lot of cool stuff year round. So wanted to make sure people heard about that, because, you know, we always lovingly lift and relay borrow things. So anything that we can do to help our year-round engagement with our survivors and caregivers is fantastic. So they did some social things. And one of the things that they did in March was around St. Patrick's Day with that theme. They had businesses that donated corned beef sandwiches and chips and drinks and desserts. And they actually had entertainment. And one year it was like Irish dancers and others musicians. So it was a really cool way to engage their survivors. And back to recruitment, they had laptops there at the social, so they could help the folks who wanted to register for relay to register. But since it was social, it was a really soft sell, but they did have it available. So, you know, we need to meet people where they are. And if people aren't comfortable um, setting things up on the computer, sit there and help them with it. So that was a cool thing to do. And they also encourage people to sit with someone that they didn't know and share their own stories. And they had two women there who found out that they had very similar stories, and they ended up getting together for coffee once a month after the social. So they made a friend in that buddy system too. And you never know what you're going to do to change somebody's life and their experiences that they have. So that was a really cool thing. Coming up for Memorial Day, they have participated in their Memorial Day parade, and they had the survivors wear their sashes, and they either marched or rode on a float, which was really cool and got recognition throughout their city for that and their surrounding areas, because I'm sure more people come to the parade from all over. They've sent out cards in February that said, "We're sweet on survivors." So they're getting that touch. And also, you know, Christmas and Thanksgiving are also great times to reach out to our survivors and let them know that we think about them year round, not just at the event. Day of, they have a unique thing. They have their survivors take their lap, and then they have the caregivers about halfway around the track. So the survivors come around halfway and they're met by their caregivers, and then they walk side by side the rest of that one lap. And it's really symbolic of their, you know, them being together and side by side through their journey. And, you know, some of the survivors, it's kind of hard for them to take that second lap with their caregiver. If we, you know, traditionally sometimes do a survivor lap and then the caregivers join them for the next lap. So I thought that was a really unique thing and a cool way to do it. Things that they've provided the survivors at the event, some opportunities to thank their caregivers. They have like a pinwheels. So on the petals of the flower, the pinwheel, they had them write a message to their caregiver, and then they kind of planted the pinwheels along one side of the track in a caregiver garden. So the caregivers could then find their pinwheel and read their messages in the garden. So that's pretty unique too. They do a full luncheon after their opening ceremonies, and then right before Luminaria, they do a smaller reception. So they have snacks or ice cream or something like that, which is really neat. And then, of course, the survivors can bring one caregiver with them. They also give their survivors a Luminaria bag to write a special message to their caregivers. And then they're lit on the track, of course. And that was a really cool thing, Sandy said. So that's just a few of the things. I did want to add something that I had heard about, and and it's from Bradley County in Tennessee. They formed a survivor choir, and I thought, how unique. It gave them the opportunity to get the survivors together. I'm sure they had some practice, and they got to meet each other and talk and share, and then they were able to perform at their event. So really, really unique things that are going on, and I'm sure there's more. So anybody else have, and I have not been monitoring the chat. I am not good at that, as Katie and Kayla know. So anything that's come up, I'll try. And then if anybody else has things that they have done with year-round recognition, as Debbie said earlier, we'd love to gather all this information and share it out.
Yeah, Susie, great information. I'm so glad Sandy was able to send that stuff over to you. It looks like in the chat, someone asks, what is everyone's preference on a survivor dinner day of or a separate day? Just curious if y'all want to put your answers in the chat, see what other relays are doing these days. It looks like while y'all are putting that in the chat, there's another event who has caregivers join them halfway, so no one walks alone. I got the chills when I read that. Yeah, it looks like different day is a theme because too much is going on. I'm with you, Pat. That's a lot to balance all in one day.
It's a lot.
Yeah, my hometown relay does a lunch after opening ceremony as well, Erin.
Yeah,
Can
my
I
home.
comment?
Yeah,
Sorry.
sure.
It's taken me too long to type. So I think I've shared before, but I don't know. I'm sure there's new people on the call. Our high school team will send out a Christmas letter and deliver it to all survivors. And then they usually have leftovers and deliver it to one of the cancer centers. And in it, they attach a note if there's anything anyone needs, whether it's mowing a lawn, getting groceries picked up, whatever, they're there to help. And last year, they actually got taken up on their kind gesture, and a woman reached out, wanted her house cleaned. So 4 of us showed up, and we cleaned her entire home from top to bottom. And then we turned around and I hooked her up with a local cleaning company who actually has a national program that she's associated with, and she cleans houses for cancer patients. So through that, they get 2 free cleanings. So it was a win-win on that one. And the cleaning company was a sponsor for us for a long time. We're working to get them back as a sponsor and a team as well.
That's amazing. So they're a national cleaning company?
Mine is local, but
Okay.
it's through a national. I'll go look it up real quick and share it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm sure others, if it is national, that would be great.
There's another question, Susie, about where do you get donations for the survivor tent, and what are some ideas of items for both men and women?
Barry might be able to help us with the tent, and it may be something events for paying for.
I know for if you're an East Coast relay, or I think most grocery stores do this, but the ShopRite or Stop and Shop, if you submit a request for goods early enough, they'll donate water and sandwiches and salads and all kind of stuff that you could serve at a lunch or a dinner, and they do it completely free of charge. And that's been a way that I've gotten a bunch of donations in terms of food. It looks like Walgreens makes a nice survivor bag.
Thanks,
Can I make
Pat.
another comment? I
Yes.
shared the national thing, not my local people. But so I don't know if anyone else on the call is lucky enough to work for a company that is really into giving. So this year I just asked my company, I'm like, I'd just like to have some extra money in addition to my sponsorship that you do. Can I have $500 for my survivors and 500 for my gala? And they just said yes. The worst people are going to do to you is say no. And I'm, and another thing, has anyone done Share the Way?
Mm-mm.
So Share the Way you sign up for, and there are all different organizations out there that will donate. I recently got restaurant cards. I can't think of who it is. Oriental Trading, and we're doing a carnival theme this year, so that's great for our relay. So they donated $25. So these are things that I use as incentives. Every team that has a fundraiser during the month will be entered for a gift, and these are the gifts I give out.
Hmm.
So I reach out to local restaurants as well if they have, especially if I can do it online and not have to go in, 'cause I don't have time. I work full time. I don't have time to go visit all these places. But I'll look up Share the Way while y'all are talking some more and share that. That's a great one to use.
That would be good gifts for survivors too, to give out at a survivor dinner or brunch.
Sorry, one more thing. How many of us have gotten gift cards we won't use?
Yeah.
Just saying, if you're not going to use it, donate it to the survivors.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Donna had a great recommendation in the chat. If you live near a research center, invite researchers to attend and be honored at the survivor reception. They've also had researchers walk the front row and lead the track as a way to bring it back to the mission a bit. And yeah, Sam's Club and Bush's Markets have donation forms, fill them out.
Hi, this is Shelley Miller. Can you hear me? I'm in the car.
We can hear
Yes.
you.
Awesome. So one of the things for multi male and female, chapstick is always good. Sunscreen is always good. Kleenex is always good. Breath mints is always good. What I do is, like, if ever I go to physical therapy or to any of my doctors, I ask them, what can you give with your product name on it? And you'll be surprised how many, once you reach out to their public relations person, what you can get. It'll be branded with their stuff, but tell them, this is for our survivors. They may be wanting to come and see you later on. So that's one way to get items for multi-genders in your survivor bag. I also like Day of Relay. I like to get them involved. So we have a survivor's choice. I don't know if you talked about Day of involvement of survivors. I joined the call 15 minutes late, so I apologize for that. But Survivor Choice Award, have them go around and give them criteria and judge the campsite. Do they have 3 cancer facts? Does it match the theme? Do they have team shirts and award points for them? And then let them do the presentation when you do your awards. Also invite a couple of your key survivors that feel comfortable sharing their story when you have a VIP tent for your sponsors right up close to the stage. So when they do their opening remarks, have some survivors in there to thank them personally and share their story with them to bring it back to why we do what we do at Relay. The more that you can get them involved and see what they want, then maybe you'll actually be able to help recruit them to form a team next year or even join the ELT. So anything you can do to get them involved day of, because many survivors just come to the event and don't have a team. So forming a team for survivors is wonderful, but also getting them engaged at the event so that they have something to do besides just walk around. Thanks.
No, great stuff, Shelley. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we'll pivot quick. We'll have room at the end for additional questions, of course. But we'll pivot really quick just to 5 minutes. Oh, I see the time. We will have sorry, I just got distracted in my head. Just wanted to review the 2024 Survivor t-shirt ordering process with y'all, so you have all of the information you need to have to share out with the survivors in your communities. This information is all on acsresources.org. So if you ever need to, 1, figure out how to get your Hope Club shirt, or 2, share information with survivors, it's all on ACS Resources. And just so y'all know, new in 2024, cancer survivors will be given the option to provide their size for their Purple Survivor t-shirt during the online registration process for their Relay for Life event. And shirts will be shipped out weekly to the address provided during registration to all survivors across the nation. And there's no fundraising requirement for survivor shirts. So survivors will get their survivor shirt mailed to their front door as long as they register on the relayforlife.org website for your event. So another reason to make sure all of your survivors are registered early, registered correctly, and have all of their information in there ready to go so they can wear their survivor shirt on an event day.
And actually, Katie, I'll tag on that because we always have survivors who don't like to register online. They don't like computers. They don't like doing that. Anyone can call the 800 number. So 800-227-2345. Option 2 will take you to one of our cancer information specialists who can sign anyone up on a website. And if they are a survivor, they will order their shirt for them. So your survivors don't even have to get to a computer. They can actually register for the 800 number through the 800 number and still get their shirt and be signed up.
Awesome. I love the shirts. I love the back of them with the way the O has the kind of homage to the former logo. So, the question from Delma, I would think we'd need to call in to have that changed, or
You should be able to change it from your dashboard when you log back in, but if you are having trouble with it, go ahead and call the 800 number and they will be able to help you.
and business hours, they're 24/7, the 800 number. So there whenever you need. That's our dollars at work. So the we can provide those patient services.
Hey, Susie, I'm not sure if Debbie mentioned or not, but we also now have a caregiver shirt available. It's 100 points. So if survivors raise $100 and they want to get the caregiver shirt for their caregiver, they can do that. Or if you're just fundraising and you want to buy it for something, use your points for it. But it's 100 points.
And Relay Rewards or ACS
Yep.
reward. Yeah.
Relay Rewards, shop relayrewards.org. All the words.
Since it's quiet, can I just throw in a comment? I'm sorry, I'm just full of it tonight. I don't know if any of you have ever used the 800 line to talk to a nurse. Has anybody? All right. They're awesome. They are just, I can't say enough on the 2 times I've needed them, how awesome they are. So I encourage my survivors and my caregivers, if you have questions, do not Google. You know, so do not Google, go to legit sites right off the bat, but go to ACS and they'll direct you to the legit sites if needed, but they'll give you information to talk to doctors about. But I can't say enough on how wonderful they are. I don't fill out surveys. I think they're a pain in the a pain. And anyway, yeah, she got a great survey.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, as we're coming to the end, does anyone have any other questions either for any of our incredible guest speakers or questions regarding, excuse me, anything survivor caregiver related that you were hoping to chat with some fellow relayers about?
Hey, Katie, if I can jump in one more time, I guess I could turn my video back on. If y'all have not seen it on any of the social media or on ACS resources, there is a new movement called Take Back Your Day, where survivors were, you can go out and read Ben and Kathleen's story out there. And we're just encouraging survivors to figure out what one of the worst days they might have had during their, I hate to use the word journey because we pick journeys. So maybe your path along your way of your cancer treatment, and take that day back. Quit letting cancer win. So figure out what makes you happy. Go to a movie, give a hug to somebody you love, walk holding hands, run a 5K like Ben and Kathleen did. Just encouraging everybody to take back your day. There's a flyer out there, more information on ACS resources. So we just want to plug that and make sure everybody's aware of it.
Anything else? Thank you, Debbie. Told you we'd get it in. Here's our upcoming trainings. On Monday, we're going to have like a office hours type thing like you have in college with ACS Resources 101. So it'll be a little bit of presentation, but mostly answering questions or navigating around the site and all that. So if you've got questions about something, come on Monday, same bat time, same bat channel, to ask those questions. We've got a couple of pre-recorded trainings that we're going to be releasing. One next week for Luminaria sales, and then the other one is engaging our corporate partners that first week in April. And I think we're going to have a live training that first week in April too. So please go back to acsresources.org and click under the training page for more of them. And you can also sign up for the texts, which I have done, and I get a nice text the day of training, and it has the link, so I don't get confused, and it really helps me. So thank you all. Anybody have any questions, comments? But thank you. Appreciate you from bottom of our hearts for being on. Hope it helped. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And I think Debbie can put you in contact with all of us too.
And the recording for this call and all of the resources will be posted on ACS Resources within the next 3 or 4 days.
Great.
Thank you all so much for joining us this Thursday evening.
Hey,
Thanks,
Katie, is that
everybody.
corporate
Thank you,
one already out
everyone.
there?
Thank you.
What'd you say?
What was
Pat?
that, Patty?
Is that corporate one already out there?
No, we're getting ready to record that one actually, and it's going to be more like partnerships in the community with different businesses, not so much sponsorship, but we will be doing a sponsorship
Oh,
training
no,
later in the
I
year.
want the business partners. When is that one?
We're doing all the recording next week, and then we'll have it posted the week of April 5th.
Oh, okay. So it's not a call we jump on. We're just
Nope,
gonna
it's not a
listen to
call.
that.
It'll just be 20-30 minutes of some volunteers sharing what they do to engage businesses beyond just writing a check.
Excellent.
We're
That's what
trying
I'm trying to do, get more businesses to bring their teams in and not just write the check.
Yeah.
So
offer them
awesome.
a ELT too, Pat.
I'm sorry.
Offer the businesses a place on the ELT.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk to different guys about and ladies about doing a board of directors type thing.
Yeah.
You know that I think it was Santa something out in California did.
Santa Clara.
There you go.
Santa Clara
Sorry.
or Santa Clarita Valley.
Yeah, I think it's that one. I think it was
Probably. You know what I have found works sometimes with businesses, especially if they're a sponsor. We would love to have your company represented on our leadership team. Is there someone at your company you would like to nominate to do that, play that role?
Love that. And I forget who said the VIP tent, but I'm gonna try to do that this year. I love
Pat,
that idea.
it was Selena's in California.
I love that.
That did the board, that had the separate board.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I remember being on that call. I remember you being there, Susie, right? It's like,
right.
I can't remember everybody, sorry.
Y'all went on
Patty, I
Santa
see you all the time, so, but these are great. I really appreciate it. You
Thank
know,
you.
I
Of course.
learned something new that I can bring along every single call. So
Good.
truly appreciate your time.
That's the
Then we
hope.
know we're doing something right.
Thanks, guys.
right.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.